In the dark and eerie outskirts of Ravenwood, there stood an imposing mansion that had earned a fearsome reputation as the Monster Mansion. Legends whispered of its mysterious owner, an old scientist named Dr. Mortimer, who was said to have conducted twisted experiments within its walls. The townsfolk believed that the mansion was haunted by all manner of monstrous creatures. No one dared to venture close or even talk about it. The doctor himself had not been seen in many years, leaving the townsfolk to think that the house was possessed by his evil spirit. A group of 4 friends, Emily, Jake, Sarah, and Ben, were all 14 years old and yearned for adventure. Summertime had come, school was out, and it was time to have some fun. They were drawn to the stories surrounding Monster Mansion, so they decided to see if they could discover the real truth behind all the scary stories they had heard, and hopefully unravel its dark secrets. The mansion had been built during the Civil War, so was quite old, but with a rich history shared within its walls. Dr. Mortimer had purchased and renovated the place to his liking. Over the years, tales were starting to be told about his so-called experiments, which coincided with the loss of pets from households in the area. With boards covering the windows, the place looked derelict and unlivable. No lights had been detected in the house for many years, and everyone assumed it was probably empty. Either that or the mad scientist's body was still in there. It was high noon when the group, armed with flashlights and a crowbar, and their hearts pounding with excitement, approached the mansion's entrance. Ben used the crowbar to pry open the front door, and they peered inside while turning on their flashlights. It was dark, very musty, and covered in millions of cobwebs. The place looked deserted. They stepped inside. They entered the dimly lit foyer with their hearts pounding. Without warning, the door slammed shut behind them. Emily screamed, and each of them jumped after being startled by the sudden loud bang. That's when they realized that they were not alone. Sinister shadows appeared to dance along the walls. Eerie whispers echoed through the corridor ahead of them. The friends realized they had stumbled into a chilling nightmare and hugged each other tightly. That's when Jake took charge. "Guys, we came here for a purpose, so let's do this and get the heck out of here." He took the flashlight from Sarah and led the way. He stepped carefully as Jake guided them slowly forward. As they moved from the foyer to the front room and beyond, they soon found themselves in a long corridor that seemed to shift and change with undulating motions. Openings with no doors appeared and disappeared at random, showing black portals to who knows where. Eerie sounds made their skin crawl, and spiderwebs were everywhere, attaching to their clothes, their hair, and their skin. They stayed tightly together, their friendship providing the strength they needed to push onward. With their wits and bravery, they were able to navigate the strange corridor and found themselves at a short stairway that went down into the blackness. Taking deep breaths, they all made their way down, their flashlight beams bouncing off the dirty walls as the stairs creaked ominously beneath their feet. When they finally reached the bottom, they found themselves in front of a heavy metal door with lights showing behind it. Jake turned the knob and opened the door. That's when the blinding light hit them. As their eyes grew accustomed to the light, they discovered that they were in Dr. Mortimer's laboratory. There they discovered the doctor's twisted notes and planned experiments that included genetic mutations, splicings, and surgical transplants. The lab seemed to have been running automatically on its own for at least a few years. They found an incredible array of small cages, presumably to hold any specimens that the doctor captured, or maybe created. The friends were determined to put an end to the mad scientist's reign of terror once and for all. They began to collect all the notes and stash them in their backpacks. As they searched for everything they could find, they stumbled upon Dr. Mortimer's personal journal. It revealed his diabolical plans to merge human and animal DNA, creating abominations that could and would defy nature. Little did the friends know, Dr. Mortimer had been driven insane by his unhinged ambition, and had constructed a sophisticated robot as his assistant. He was able to connect himself to the robot in order to pass all of his knowledge into the robot's computer brain. After the doctor passed, the robot then took control over the laboratory, keeping the solar generators running and the water flowing to necessary cooling stations located throughout the lab. The robot also stood guard against any and all intruders. With claw-like hands and formidable strength, it proved to be a formidable opponent for defense, as well. As the friends rummaged through all of the papers, the robot powered on and suddenly sprang into action as it had emerged from the shadows and attacked them. The friends were taken by surprise but quickly separated and stood their ground. Their faces were etched in determination as the menacing robot tried to advance towards them, its deadly claws reaching out to grab them. It soon found itself spinning in circles as it tried to defend the laboratory. As the robot lunged at them, the four friends swiftly dodged out of the way. Jake managed to kick at its leg and the robot got wobbly for a moment. As the robot struggled to remain upright, Ben hit it on the back with the crowbar. Weakened by the combined efforts of the friends, the robot's movements became erratic, its attacks less coordinated. Sensing an opportunity, the group pressed forward, launching a counteroffensive with every ounce of strength they possessed. Each member hit and kicked at it, working in perfect synchrony, striking blow after blow against their metallic enemy. After managing to corner the robot, Ben shoved the crowbar into the belly of the beast. He then took it out and bashed it over the head with all of his strength. Finally, with a resounding crash, the robot collapsed to the laboratory floor, rendered immobile and defeated. In a flash of glory, and a roar of triumph, the friends had emerged victorious. Dr. Mortimer's reign of terror had finally come to an end. The frightful monster mansion was forever freed from its dark presence. The friends, breathless and victorious, looked upon their fallen adversary, knowing that they had achieved a great deed. With the robot defeated and the laboratory secured, the friends set to work dismantling the mad scientist's dangerous experiments. They gathered valuable data and evidence, vowing to expose his unhinged ambitions to the world. In doing so, they would prevent anyone else from suffering at the hands of his sinister creations. Together, they walked away from the laboratory, stronger and wiser for what they had just gone through. As they stepped into the light of day, they carried with them the hope that their actions had saved not only themselves but also countless others from the mad scientist's dark legacy. Emily, Jake, Sarah, and Ben shared their story with all who would listen. The people who heard the story learned that the friends had not only escaped the clutches of the monster mansion but had finally ended all the spooky stories of the haunted house. As time passed, the monster mansion became a distant memory, a testament to the resilience of those who faced their fears and conquered the darkness. The house was torn down and a cozy country market took its place, bringing sunshine and happiness to the surrounding area. So, the story of the extraordinary escape from Monster Mansion became a timeless tale, a reminder that bravery and friendship can conquer even the most terrifying of nightmares.